Good evening, everyone. I'd like to open the meeting. Wish to welcome everyone to the April meeting of the Health and Building Committee. Standing committees have been introduced to the council meeting process in order for committees to consider reports prepared by council officers and to make recommendations regarding those reports to the monthly council meeting. Council delegates on the Health and Building Committee are Mayor Kennedy, Deputy Mayor Hickey, Councillor Chandler, Councillor Jewett, Councillor Gallagher and Councillor Turley. Live streaming and recording of meetings. This committee meeting is being live streamed via the YouTube and recorded and published online via Council's website. To those present in the meeting today, by attending this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. The chairperson and or general manager have the authority to pause the live stream if comments or debates are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Participants are advised they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. As I think all present, we have no apologies for tonight. Everyone is present. Do I have a move of? No, I don't need that. All good. Leave of absence. We have nil leave of absence. The prayer. Could I call on Councillor Turley to read the prayer, please?
Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberation to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Thank
you, Councillor Turley. The acknowledgement of Council of Country. Could I get Councillor Gallagher, please?
Yeah, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet and pay our respect to those elders past, present and emerging.
Thanks, Councillor Gallagher. Minutes of the last meeting, the minutes of the Health and Building Committee meeting held Tuesday, March 22, 2022, be confirmed.
I'll move that way.
Thank you, Councillor Turley. Seconder?
I'll second that way.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. All in favour of those minutes? Carried unanimously. Are there any, I have no written disclosure of interest. Are there any disclosure of interest tonight?
Mr. Chair, just want to disclose an interest in item 2, although it's a DA, it's a non-pecuniary at all. And it's, I've been a member of the CWA for many years, not so much Broken Hill branch, but CWA.
Thank you, Councillor Turley. I don't believe there's to be any real conflict there.
I will remove myself
you
from
will
the chamber
remove,
just
okay.
to make sure there's transparency.
Thank you, Councillor Turley. Reports. Broken Hill City Council report number 8322 dated April 5, 2022. Update on the acquisition of Federation Way. Recommendation that Broken Hill City Council report number 8322 dated April 5, 2022 be received. The council note the update and on the acquisition of Federation Way.
Before that's moved, could I ask a question through the chair?
You can, Mayor Kennedy.
Just reading the report, reading the report, the cost to council may be negotiation for compensation with the native title holders. What would be the process if council got to the point where we'll negotiate but refuse to accept the compensation settlement? And what is the advantage to council to even, I know the grant says we have to have Federation Way, but if it's going to cost us money, what is the advantage to council to actually take over Federation Way?
To you, General Manager.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mayor Kennedy. To be completely frank with you, there's no advantage for council to take on Federation Way. However, part of the council resolution in 2015, and I'm not sure of that, I haven't got the report number or the date of that meeting to hand at the moment, but council did agree in 2015 to acquire Federation Way from Crown Lands on the basis that they provided the upgrade to the roadway, which included the curb and guttering and an upgrade to the car park on the line of load for the Miners' Memorial. So as a part of that upgrade of Crown Lands, council agreed to acquire Federation Way. At that point in time, native title hadn't been determined. with that process in hand. Since then, obviously, native title has been determined. So now for council to complete its end of the deal with Crown Lands with Federation Way, council had two options, which was presented to it in 2020, which was to enter an Indigenous land use agreement, which is the preferred approach because it's generally a more appropriate approach with the traditional owners of the land in ensuring native title, or going through the process of a compulsory acquisition, which obviously would have its legal hurdles as well. So there is still the two options there. If negotiations completely fail with an Indigenous land use agreement, there is the option to begin looking at compulsory acquisition with Crown Lands. But unfortunately, at this point in time, council's compelled to continue through with an acquisition process for Federation Way.
I suppose more the question is where the council, we have to commit a budget. Now, if this council refuses to commit to budget beyond what was committed back in 2015, then by the very point of not committing a vote, it's not us that's stopping the acquisition. It is, in fact, the native title that would be stopping the acquisition, not us. Council would be still committed to it, but we're not committed to spending the money to pursue either through the courts with native title or with a deal, the native title. So ultimately it'd be the native title holders that would be stopping the acquisition, not council. So I suppose my question really is, if we as a council decide not to put the vote beyond what it would have cost us to get that acquisition being held up by native title, it wouldn't be us that was reneging on the deal, would be in fact that there'd been a hurdle put to us in the way of the native title holders saying that, no, you can't have that land. So it would actually get us out of any, I suppose the question is, would that get us out of the agreement, considering it's not our fault that it's not going ahead?
Thanks, Mackenzie. Yes, I mean, certainly options there. And I think longer term, which we've been speaking to our legal representatives about, if there is any required settlement, then we would be pushing really hard and advocating with state government and Crown Land that they fulfil that amount as necessary as well. So that'd be their first option for that settlement process to occur, because it was agreed upon before native title was determined. And obviously it's a cost that council isn't able to fund at this point in time, depending on what it is. And it may not be a financial compensation. I guess it's the very early stages of negotiation. A lot of the negotiations could be around the ongoing ownership right of the land through the Indigenous Land Use Agreement, naming rights, financial compensation. So there's many options that's still on the table for negotiation. It depends where that, and they've literally only just begun with an introductory meeting, which is obviously why that extension is required. So we'll continue to provide reports to the council and updates of the matter, and options and recommendations on the best way forward once we get to a point in time that we can proceed.
So I will move the motion and briefly speak to it. Someone's second.
I'll second that one.
Look, I don't believe it. Federation Way is really in the council's best interest to take over. It'll be an ongoing cost. If council are able to get out of this because the impediment of native title claim, then as far as I'm concerned, there's already councils spending significant amount of time and money with the general manager and other people involved, legal representatives involved in talking about how we acquire that through native title. And if the cost continues, then I don't actually, I'll move an addendum to what I've moved. I'll move the 1 and 2, and at number 3, we write to the Crown's Land with our concerns about the ongoing costs of acquiring the land, write to the Crown Lands and appropriate other agencies about the concern of the additional costs, including manpower, legal costs, and potential compensation to take over a road that we agreed to take over before native title was an issue. And that council would like to be compensated in any costs involved to acquire through native title.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Councillor Gallagher, you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. All those in favour of that motion? All in favour unanimously. Thank you. Item 2 of reports is Broken Hill City Council Report number 8422. Oh, sorry, Councillor Turley. Councillor Turley has removed herself from the meeting due to conflict of interest. Broken Hill City Council Report number 8422 dated April 7, 2022. Proposed CWA mural at 163 Argent Street, Broken Hill. Recommendation that Broken Hill City Council Report number 8422 dated April 7, 2022 be received. 2, that council staff provide correspondence to the Broken Hill branch of the CWA, inviting them to submit a development application and outlining the required information and advice, guidance on how to lodge a development application. 3, that following submission of the development application and an initial assessment by council officers, the DA be referred to council for final determination. Do I have a move?
I'll move that way.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. Do I have a seconder?
Could I second that with an addendum if the mover would move it, that it is referred to the Health and Building Committee before going to the final council meeting for determination.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, that's should be anyway. That's why it should go.
Could I speak to it if the mover's not going to speak to it?
Yes.
Or if you're going to speak to it? No. Look, I think this is, I don't know if other councillors have got the same amount of excitement in the community about, Dave probably would have been the best one to speak about it. He has had a bit of involvement in it as well. It is an exciting thing and people are really happy. The vibe in the community, not just for that project, but the vibe in the community as a whole is what I'm getting out there is that people were happy with councillors, council staff, the council as a whole. It is an exciting time. We can't take credit for all of what's happening in the Broken Hill, but it definitely there's a different vibe out there and people were acknowledging it. And this CWA mural may be a small thing, but it's having a big impact as far as public relations go with the council. So $5,000 and a change of decision has just been probably one of the best amounts of advertising council could ever achieve for such a small amount of money. And I'm proud of the councillors that were involved in achieving it.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Did you want to speak on that, Councillor Gallagher?
Just to say, I totally agree with the comments of Mayor Kennedy, and I think it's a catalyst that's really started some good thoughts of the council with the murals and so forth in town. So I recommend this recommendation.
Thanks, Councillor Gallagher. Just as chair, I'd like to just say, can we get that development application put through fairly easily? Like the last one was virtually approved, except for the committee that knocked back the panel. But for it to all have to go back to CWA for them to regurgitate, can we just get that one that we've got there on paper and forward this, let them to re-sign it, resubmit it? Is that possible?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. No, as a part of the process, they will have to resubmit it, but our planning team will certainly work with them and make it as easy as possible to submit that application. So yeah, it'll be a smooth process in regards to the resubmission of the application and the assistance that they require. We'll be able to give them in that instance.
Thanks, General Manager. All in favour of that motion, the amended motion? Right, passed unanimously. Thank you. Can we get, yeah, Councillor Turnley, thank you. I said that. Thank you, Councillor Turley. Item 3. Oh, sorry,
What was the
Councillor
outcome?
Turley. The motion was passed with an amendment of that number 4, that the matter be referred to the Health and Building Committee before being presented to the council meeting for final determination. Thank you. Item 3, Broken Hill City Council report number 8522, dated April 6, 22, Aging Well S355 Committee. The Broken Hill City the Broken Hill City Council report number 8522, dated April 6, 2022, be received. 2, that council adopts the terms of reference for the creation of an Aging Well Section 355 Committee. 3, that council determines its 3 council delegates on the Aging Well Section 355 Committee. And 4, that council advertise for community representatives on the Aging Well Section 355 Committee, and nominations be presented to a future council meeting for appointment. Do we have a mover of that motion? Thank you, Councillor Turley. Have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Jewett. All in favour of that?
I'd just,
Oh, did you want to speak?
I'd just,
Sorry.
yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Look, I think this is a very well written report, and I think that it'll go a long way to getting some things done, or at least some ideas happening. The structure of it seems really good, and as time goes on, we'll see how good it is and whether it needs slightly adjusting. But just to start with, I think it's a very good write-up and very well done.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Does anyone else want to speak on that or make comment? No. I've got to agree with you, Mayor Kennedy. Reading it, it's really good for the aged, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for council and for all those concerned. Can we have a vote on that? All in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 4, Broken Hill City Council report number 8622, dated April 8, 2022, Youth Section 355 Committee terms of reference. Recommendation 1, that Broken Hill City Council report number 8622, dated April 8, 2022, be received. 2, that council adopts the terms of reference for the creation of a Youth Section 355 Committee. 3, that council determine that 3 council delegates on the Youth 355 Committee. 4, the council advertises for community representatives on the Youth 355 Committee and for the nominations to be presented to the future council meeting for appointment. And 5, the council investigate the opportunity to assist young people aged 12 to 24 years to create a youth council. Do you have a mover of that motion?
I'll move that.
Councillor Mayor Kennedy, I should say. Thank you, Councillor Turley.
Just to speak to it, yeah, just the same thing again, well written, and just a little bit of history. Councillor Turley and I were elected to the first youth council back in about 2001 or so. So I wasn't much older than what it was to actually be a representative on the youth council. So it's been 20 It's been about 20 years since Councillor Turley and I, a long time ago. There's some of the young people on that were only 15, 16 and now,
Yeah.
well into their getting towards 40. So it's a long time ago, and it was a good thing. And I hope we can actually make it a lot more focused on what can be achieved. There was some nice things done with different things with council's youth officer, and I think it's got a lot of merit. And I hope it. I think Councillor Turley was the chairman, weren't you, Daria?
No, we actually appointed a young person
Oh,
to
that's
be the
right.
chair.
We did.
We made
Yeah.
sure, and we actually transferred it. So it wasn't a 355 committee. It ended up having their own constitution. So they'd have their own rights and weren't under council's requirement, and ensuring that they had a voice and that they weren't influenced by council.
Thank you, Councillor Turley.
It was very good anyway.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. It sounds like the two appropriate people to be in charge of it, because since you were both young back in them days and doing it, so very good. All those in favour of the motion? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, so no confidential matters. As there is no further business, I declare the Health and Building Committee meeting closed. Thank you all.